Today we will be talking about Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium and equations by Duncan Hildreth and Brady Young. The first question to ask is, why Hardy-Weinberg and what is it? The Hardy-Weinberg formulas allow scientists to determine whether evolution has actually occurred. Any changes in the gene frequencies in the population over time can be detected through the Hardy-Weinberg equations. This can be shown through the pigs in this population, which are both pink and black. The law essentially states that if no evolution is occurring, then an equilibrium of an allele frequency will remain in effect in each succeeding generation of sexually producing organisms. Evolution in a population will always occur unless it is in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium can only occur if the 5 following laws are met. Number 1. No mutations must occur so that new alleles do not enter the population. Number 2. No gene flow can occur, i.e., no migration of individuals into or out of the population. Number 3. Random mating must occur, i.e., individuals must pair by chance. Number 4. The population must be large so that no genetic drift can cause the allele frequencies to change. And finally, number 5. No selection can occur so that certain alleles are not selected for or against. Before we can get to the actual Hardy-Weinberg equation, some basic definitions must first be explained. First of all, the meaning of P and Q. P equals the frequency of the dominant allele, while Q equals the frequency of the recessive allele. Next, the genotype and phenotype. The genotype is the genetic makeup of an individual. It refers to the information contained on 2 alleles in the cell. The phenotype is the detectable expression of the genotype, an expressed and an observable trait, one example being hair color. Next is the explanation of dominant and recessive. Here shown is a brown eye, which is more dominant over blue eyes. It is shown in a genotype as a capital B. If a person has a genotype of capital B lowercase b, meaning one dominant and one recessive allele, the dominant allele will actually be shown in the person, creating brown eyes. Now we can actually get to the equations to determine the frequency of traits. P squared means the frequency of homozygous dominant. 2pq means the frequency of heterozygous, and q squared equals the frequency of homozygous recessive. Now, the actual equation for trait frequency. P squared plus 2pq plus q squared equals 1. Now we are going to do an application problem to test your ability to do a Hardy-Weinberg equation problem. Within a population of butterflies, the color brown, capital B, is dominant over the color white, lowercase b. And 40% of all butterflies are white. Given this information, calculate the following. Number 1, the percentage of butterflies in the population that are heterozygous. And number 2, the frequency of homozygous dominant individuals. Please take this time and pause the video and work out the equation. Now for the answer and explanation to the previous problem. So we already know that q squared equals 0.4, as 40% of the butterflies were white. If we take the square root of this, we find out that q equals 0.632, which means about 63% of the butterflies have the q allele. This must mean that p must be 0.37, as 1 minus 0.63 equals 0.37. To answer the first question, what is the percentage of butterflies in the population that are heterozygous? We look in the equation and see that heterozygous is 2pq. So the answer is 2 times 0.37 times 0.63, which equals 0.47. So about 47% of the population is heterozygous. To answer the second question, what is the frequency of homozygous dominant individuals? This would be in the equation P2, or 0.37 times 2, which means 0.14, which means about 14% of the population is homozygous dominant. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've learned a little bit more about the Hardy-Weinberg equation and how to figure out Hardy-Weinberg problems. Thank you.